Rammstein, the German industrial metal titans. They are absolute masters of provocation, of satire, and of crafting these songs that have so much going on just beneath the surface. And today, we're diving deep into one of their most brilliant and maybe most misunderstood pieces, Dicke Titten. On the surface, the song is, well, it's blunt, it's crude. It feels almost comically simple, right? This one single demand, hammered home again and again, has given the song a reputation as just a simple, vulgar anthem. But come on, this is Rammstein we're talking about. It's never that simple, is it? Is this really just some cheap misogynistic joke? Or is this bluntness a carefully constructed punchline to a much darker, much more tragic story? Let's deconstruct it. Okay, so the first thing you have to understand, and this is absolutely key, is that the song doesn't start with a joke at all. It starts with this profound, almost poetic sadness. Our narrator isn't some confident guy listing his preferences. He's a man who's truly at the end of his rope. I mean, he opens by painting this picture of just total decay. He's been alone for years, his life has lost all its color, and he's physically and mentally just falling apart, losing his patience, his mind, and even his hair. This isn't comedy, it's a portrait of absolute despair. And then you get this line, which just reveals the true depth of his suffering. He's not just in a bad mood, he's describing a chronic psychic wound. His soul is literally bleeding. This right here is the tragic foundation that the entire satirical joke is built on. You know, sociologists actually have a name for this state, anomie. It's what happens when a person feels so disconnected from society's norms, from their community, that they just become adrift. The narrator's life isn't just gray because he's sad, it's gray because he's suffering from a complete and total breakdown of social connection. So, from this place of deep existential pain, the narrator finally states what he's looking for. And this is where Rammstein delivers the song's core satirical conflict. And here it is, the song's central conflict, laid bare. He claims he's looking for a partner who is ebenbürtig, his equal, someone on his level, intellectually, emotionally. But in the very next breath, that lofty ideal just completely collapses into the crude physical demand of the chorus. This isn't just a joke. It's the entire tragedy of the song, captured in 2 lines. And what's even worse, he has zero self-awareness about this contradiction. He genuinely seems to believe that by boiling his requirement down to a single physical attribute, he's actually being humble and easygoing. He's just so lost in his own desperation that he can't see how pathetic his logic really is. So because he's failed to find this equal, he goes down a path of, well, radical reduction. He starts to systematically renounce every single complex social value that we normally associate with attraction. And this process is absolutely crucial. He actively dismantles the pillars of what our society considers valuable in a partner. Beauty, intelligence, wealth, all of it just gets thrown right out the window. It's like if the complex social game has failed him, he's just going to reject the game entirely and reduce his search to something primal, something purely biological. And this leads us to the song's most brilliant piece of wordplay. In the final chorus, he completely subverts our expectations. He says, "She only has to be rich." And for a split second, you think he's changed his mind. But then he finishes the line, "in adipose tissue." The use of this specific word, Fettgewebe, is just a masterstroke. It's a cold, clinical, medical term for body fat. By using it, he completes the dehumanization. He no longer desires a person or even an aesthetic body part, but a specific quantity of a biological material. The objectification is now absolute. But you know, this satire isn't just in the lyrics. The music itself is a huge part of the joke, creating this deliberate and absolutely comical clash of styles. The song's verses are driven by Blasmusik, which is this cheerful, traditional German folk music you'd probably hear at Oktoberfest. It's the sound of community, of celebration, a kind of rustic innocence. It is the absolute last sound you would associate with existential despair. And then the chorus hits, and that innocent little polka sound gets completely crashed by Rammstein's signature sound, brutal, heavy, industrial metal. It's this violent shift from the communal town square to a cold, unforgiving factory. But here's the true genius of the production. The folk music doesn't actually stop. It keeps going underneath that crushing metal riff. The two opposing worlds are so meticulously mixed to coexist, with the metal owning the low end and the folk orchestra living in the high end. This musically mirrors the narrator's mind perfectly, a grotesque fusion of an idealized, innocent fantasy and a brutal, industrial reality.
So when you put all these pieces together, the lyrical tragedy, the satirical contradiction, and that amazing musical clash, the true meaning of the song becomes crystal clear.
Ultimately, Dicke Titten isn't celebrating misogyny, it's satirizing it by exposing the profound weakness, the desperation, and the deep sadness that so often lies behind it. The song's target isn't women at all. It's the pathetic man whose soul is bleeding and whose only solution is to reduce the entire world to a crude physical fetish. And this really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In an age where so many people feel increasingly isolated, where relationships are often reduced to just swipes on a screen, does this story feel a little too familiar? Is Rammstein's dark joke about one lonely man actually a joke about all of us?